You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails. Garner great pet tips and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. If your dog started choking or your cat was bleeding profusely, would you know what to do? In pet emergencies, every minute counts. That's why I'm happy to dedicate this special episode of the Oh Behave Show to sharing with you listeners the value of knowing pet first aid. So when I'm not behind this microphone, I wear many collars in the pet world: animal behavior consultant, author, media consultant, and my favorite role, Master Certified Pet First Aid Instructor with Pet Tech, the world's premier hands-on pet first aid CPR training program. April is celebrated in many ways, and the best one I know is that April is Pet First Aid Awareness Month. So in this special episode, we have not one, but 6 special guests, each sharing how knowing pet first aid has made a difference in their lives and the lives of their pets. We got a lot to cover, so get comfy. We're going to be right back after this commercial break.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
Hi, this is Tim Link, animal communicator and pet expert and host of Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Have you ever wanted to know what your pet is really thinking? Do you want to find out if they truly understand what you're trying to tell them? Ever wish you could build a better understanding and closer relationship with your pet? Well, now you can. Learning to communicate with animals is a 4-part on-demand workshop. In the workshop, you'll learn the essential techniques that are necessary to communicate with animals, including what is animal communication, breathing correctly to achieve the perfect state to communicate with your animals at a deeper level, using guided meditation exercises and method to communicate with animals, and how to send and receive information from your animals. So if you're wanting to learn how to communicate and connect with your animals at a deeper level, visit PetLifeRadio.com/workshop and purchase and download Learning to Communicate with Animals. You'll be glad you did.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. As a Master Certified Pet First Aid Instructor, I travel all over North America and I provide hands-on, veterinary-approved classes. And accompanying me whenever possible is the very talented cat-dog teaching team of Ziki and Chipper. Now, Ziki is a Turkish van mix who has never met a stranger. She loves all people, other cats, and even dogs. She was born to be a feline teacher. Chipper is my husky golden retriever who, like Ziki, happily lets all my students check her pulse, put on a safety restraint muzzle, and so much more. You know, folks, having a real dog and a cat is a plus, in my opinion, when it comes to learning pet first aid. You can find out more about my classes by going to www.petfirstaid4u.com. And that's the number 4 and the letter U. So let's get started. In celebration of April being Pet First Aid Awareness Month, I've assembled a group of people who know firsthand what to do in a pet emergency. The goal of Pet First Aid is to teach you the skills to assess, immobilize, and stabilize a pet until you can get that pet to a vet. That's what we do in my classes at Pet First Aid for You. My first guest is Kathy Rodriguez. She is the owner of Royally Spoiled Pet Services in Belverde, Texas. It's a beautiful town near San Antonio. I can tell you, I went to class and I was seeing deer near the parking lot when I pulled up into the church parking lot. Now, Kathy is also one of the newest pet tech, pet first aid, and CPR instructors I've trained. Welcome to the show, Kathy.
Thank you.
All right. I got you onto the airways. That's pretty good. Hey, Kathy?
Very good. Thank you.
And you texted me about a month ago, and I was like stunned. You told me something happened to a puppy of yours named Kai. Tell me what happened.
She was actually eating her regular puppy food. She was really sleepy. And so she laid down to take a little nap, and then something woke her back up, and she went back over and started eating again, but very tired. She just wasn't sure, I guess, what she was doing, and she started actually choking on her kibble.
Uh-oh.
And at first, we heard the little cough, and, I thought, oh, she's just going to cough that up, and no big deal. And then she wasn't able to cough it up. And so as soon as I heard her struggling with that, it was like every choking protocol that we went over in class came back to my mind. And I went over and I let her try to get it out herself, and then she eventually went into a stridor.
Yeah, make that sound because we have to do it in class.
It was so scary. And you know what? Until you actually hear it, we had described it in class, but until you actually hear it, you just don't even know what to expect. But it was like,
Yeah, and that means
so
that there's a
scary.
blockage, right? It's a blockage of air. Okay.
Her airway was blocked, and I knew that from the class, and so as soon as that happened, I immediately just turned her around, put her between my legs, because she's 12 weeks old. Well, she was 12 weeks old at that time. Not a big dog, so I just held, like her butt between my legs, and I started to go ahead and do the thrusts behind her front legs to get it out, and I think I was afraid at first that I was going to hurt her.
Yeah.
So I didn't really do it very hard. And she still, had the stridor, and she was still struggling. And so then at that point, I was just like, look, I've just got to get this thing out, whatever it is. And I did it harder 2 more times, 2 really big thrusts, and her kibble went flying.
Oh, my
across
gosh.
the kitchen, yes. And I was just so excited and grateful, that I had learned everything that I learned in class. And I was happy that it came back as quickly as it did, and she just was a little bit stunned and shaken up, and then just began going back into her little puppy world. She forgot about it.
Yeah,
but I was
no big deal. I almost died, but I have Kathy Rodriguez as my ally. I know when we teach you in class, we do a lot of hands-on and we do a lot of repetitions. So it sounds like that was what you needed to just kick into gear when Kai started choking.
Yeah, because in class you had taught me with Zeke. I was the one that was able to sit on the chair and put Zeke in between my knees.
Yeah.
And so that's really what came back to me is like, she's about the same size as Zeke, so I need to hold her like this. And the hands-on was really, really important. And because of that, I'm actually buying some smaller demo dogs and cats for my classes.
Good.
Yeah, and I probably wouldn't have done that if it hadn't have been for Kai choking that day, but I just want people to get that feeling, to know exactly what it feels like. So
how do people find out about getting a pet first aid class in your area, or also you are a professional licensed and bonded pet sitter? So tell us how people can get in touch with you, Kathy.
They can find me on my website, which is www.royallyspoiledpetservices.com. They can reach me at my telephone number, which is 830-888-0200. And if they just, they can either give me a call or they can even email me if they want. It's rspetservices@gmail.com. So, and we do pet sitting, house sitting, and then the pet tech first aid classes.
Any parting advice you'd like to give folks who are thinking about taking a pet first aid class?
I would just say don't pass it up if you have the opportunity, because I tried to get into this class at least for over a year before I was finally able to do it. I'm just happy that my puppy choked after I went into the class.
Yeah, good point.
So if you have an opportunity to do it, do not pass that up. It's the difference between life and death. It really is.
Well, I got to tell you, folks, Kathy Rodriguez is the real deal. She was an excellent student. We did a 3-day training program with her to become an instructor, and she's living proof that this is one of the most priceless skills you can learn for your most priceless asset, your pet. And I miss you, girl.
I miss you too. To come back through Texas again.
I sure will. All right. Keep doing what you're doing because you're really helping pets and their people.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mindy Schwartz. By day, she is the owner of the Balance Book Company. She is your go-to gal for all your bookkeeping needs. And hey, she keeps my company's books in tip-top shape. She's also a lifelong pet lover, and she took one of my Pet Saver classes so that she could truly be the best pet health ally to her dogs, Rocky and Nikki. Welcome to the show, Mindy.
Thanks.
I coerced you into taking a pet first aid class. What did you think? And so you were very good in class. You didn't fall asleep. You took dubious notes. You were good on the hands-on. And then you wrote me and sent me a picture of Rocky. Tell the listeners what happened.
Well, we had just gotten back from a walk, and we were in the backyard, and suddenly Rocky and Nikki took off into the bushes. We have a slope behind our house with lots of trees and bushes, and came out with a squirrel. So he wrestled with the squirrel while Nikki barked encouragingly. And when we got the squirrel away from him, I got him to come into the house, and his face was covered with blood. And I wasn't sure whose blood it was. So I cleaned him off, and he had cuts and bite marks all over his face.
Oh, no.
So I got out the first aid kit I had put together after my Pet Saver class, and cleaned it off, checked his gums for this capillary reflex.
And explain people about that, because healthy gums should be what color?
Pink.
All right. But if they turn white or red or blue, then we know there's something wrong, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I checked it, and when I pressed on his gum, it turned white and then immediately turned pink again. So I knew I didn't have to worry about anything too horrible or about him being in shock.
Good.
So I cleaned it off and wrapped it up so that the bleeding would stop. And then I got him to the vet where he ended up with 12 stitches.
Oh, my gosh. Wonder what happened to the squirrel. Do you think the squirrel won that round?
No, the squirrel lost.
Oh, okay. We won't go there. This is like a Bambi story. Okay. But I know this is very scary to see one of our beloved four-leggers in a tussle. It sounds like you didn't panic.
No, we've had experiences with, we've had dogs for a really long time. Mm-hmm. And my main goal was to get him away from the squirrel and get him to let go of it. Right. And to get him into the house and see what was going on with him.
And give us a little bio on Rocky. What kind of dog is he?
Rocky he's a rescue, so we're not 100% sure. But he looks mostly like a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Right.
And at 7 years old, he's still kind of crazy, so we're pretty sure there's some lab in there.
Good assessment, yeah. And what would you say? April is Pet First Aid Awareness Month. So you took the class. What advice would you give other people who are lucky enough to have a dog or a cat in their lives, why they should take a class?
Oh, I would definitely. I've told all my friends about the class, and I've recommended that they take it because, when you're responsible for taking care of a pet, you need to know what to do when something happens. I take my dogs to the dog park, and even the best behaved, mellowest dog can get into it with another dog or can just have an accident.
Good point,
so,
yes.
I think it's important that we know what to do, what to look for. Just a little thing like checking his gums. It's important to know how to take care of your animals because you're responsible for them.
And folks, it is a blessing that we even have Mindy on the air right now because she's busy doing the books for a lot of people and tax reports. Can you tell us a little bit about the Balance Book Company and how people can find out more about it?
Okay. Well, we have a website. It's balancedbookcompany.com. I do bookkeeping for small businesses and tax returns for individuals and small businesses as well.
All right. And I got to tell you, she helps me with my QuickBooks all the time. She knows I know pets. I know she knows numbers.
Oh, I agree. We make a good team.
So I'm giving a big old healthy treat and hug to Rocky and his pal, Nikki. And I thank you again for taking the class. And I'm really glad you were able to put what you learned in class to use to help poor Rocky.
No, thank you. It was so much easier to deal with it because I knew what to do. So thank you.
All right. Well, we thank Mindy for being on the show. And remember, go to thebalancedbookcompany.com. Check her out. She does really good work. All right.
Thanks, Arden.
Now, we're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, you will hear from some folks I taught during my recent trip to Dallas. So sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. Oh, Behave will be back in a flash. right after these messages.
Hi, I'm Dana Humphrey, the founder of Whitegate PR. We have been specializing in PR and marketing in the pet industry for over 10 years. If you have a pet product or service you would like to promote, give us a call. We can help create awareness for your brand on TV, radio, magazines, newspapers, and blogs. Feel free to reach me directly at 619-414-9307 or learn more on our website at whitegatepr.com or follow us on Facebook.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com. We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the O Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore.
And you know I'm making a favorite destination, which is Dallas. And on this show, I'm going to have some great adventures, and one of them is the ability to congratulate 3 of the newest Pet Tech instructors. Pet Tech is the world's hands-on premier pet first aid program, and I is one of the master instructors. And we're at the SPCA of Texas, and we just completed the 3-day program. And if you guys could see the faces of my 3 newest instructors, there's this big sigh of relief. So first of all, I want to congratulate Alex Adama. I want to congratulate Tiffany Manson and Arita Bateman. Pause up to all of you guys. A little round of applause for yourselves. Woo, woo. And we were assisted this time by an awesome, make that possum pity by the name of Rosie Greer. And of course, Ziki, the cool cat, the only cat teaching hands-on pet first aid. She's sleeping right now, so she's not going to really give any talk. But first of all, I want to congratulate you, Alex. Tell the listeners who the heck you are and why were you here?
I'm Alex Aldama. I own a dog training business in Brenham, Texas, and I am here so I can get certified to give classes on CPR to help people know what to do when their pets are in trouble.
What's the name of your business?
First Step Dog Training and Grooming.
And how the heck do we find you, sniff you out?
You can look us up on the internet, firststepdogtrainingandgrooming.com. You could like our page on Facebook, First Step Dog Training and Grooming.
And I know there's a trick to the spelling of first.
Yes, you do 1ST, Dog Training and Grooming.
All right, and then you have a really cool dog with a great name. Tell us a little bit about your dog.
He is a Briard named Buzz. We got him from a breeder. He was the dog I took with me to school when I learned how to train. He is a very goofy boy. He jumps up on water fountains on his own to get water out of them.
And he knows how to activate the water fountain, right?
Yes, he does. He knows how to push the little button. He's very smart.
Now, you had a special assistant here. Tell me, even though you know a lot about dogs, what's your impression of your new feline friend?
Ziki is one cool cat. We got along great, and I hope to see him down the road.
All right. Thank you, and congratulations, Alex.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Tiffany Manson, and she's a local girl. She's here deep in the heart of Dallas. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Tiffany.
I am the owner and founder of White Rock Pet Services and Pet Parent Education Network. You can find us whiterockpets.com or White Rock Pets on Facebook, at White Rock Pets on Twitter. You can find us on Pinterest. If it's social media, search us. We're there.
And what made you say, I got to take this class?
I've got to take this class because I am a dog foster parent. I work with rescue, and there are just not enough people who know how to save their animals' lives in an emergency. I want every foster I send home with a new parent to be in a home where they know what to do in case of an emergency.
And what did you think of our four-legged teaching assistants in class?
They were both possum.
Possum?
Ziki is the coolest cat ever, and Rosie Greer, awesome.
And I know that you and I know each other, but we got a chance to get to know each other better. Did you handle my bad jokes during class?
I loved your bad jokes. I would like to have a book of your bad jokes just to keep on hand when you're not around.
Uh-oh, that's cool. I'm already being immortalized before my time. But I do want you guys to go to
whiterockpets.com.
All right, we got a new person in Dallas that's keeping your pets safe. And next up, we got a teacher in the house. We're talking about Arita Bateman, and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you have a really cool curriculum.
I teach vet science classes at Oak Ridge High School.
And where
Been doing that for about 6 years. It's in Conroe near Houston, and I took the class so that I could help my students, to help them get more certifications so that they can be more competitive in the job market.
That's great. Now, what is something that maybe you learned that you didn't expect? Because you have a pretty good knowledge base.
I do, just from being around for quite a while.
She's Methuselah is her middle name, listeners.
The updated information, the more current CPR and dealing with the bloodborne or the bleeding protocols. That's really important to me. It's important for my kids to have the most current information possible.
I was very, very grateful. As you listeners know, when I can, I take the team of Chipper, my golden retriever husky, and Ziggy as my team teachers in Pet First Aid. But there's no way that Chipper at 60 pounds would fit under the seat in the airplane. So she got to stay home. But tell us about Rosie Greer. She brought her dog, who's a therapy dog, and tell us a little bit about Rosie.
Rosie Greer is my buddy. He found me on the street and rescued me, which is very nice. He's got the greatest personality, and the more I got to know him, within a month I was training him to do pet therapy, and so he's just awesome.
And tell us a little bit about his bio.
Well, I don't know where he came from. We think that because he's a registered American Staffordshire Terrier.
That is pit bulls to you guys, which you all know I love. I am a pit fan.
And he breaks every single stereotype that you could possibly imagine. He is quite the ambassador for the breed. He's just a lovely, lovely dog. Think that he may have come from a fighting situation, had scars all over him, bites, fresh wounds, and things like that when I found him. But he doesn't have a mean bone in his body. He lives with his 11 or 12 brothers and sisters and cats and ferrets and chinchillas and various other things, and he's just amazing.
And right now, just picture this, listeners. He is belly up in the arms of one of our students, just totally chillaxing. And he also did a nice little butt sniff of Zeke, and Zeke and him were like pretty super mellow together.
Yeah, it's a cat. It's like, hey,
and
kitty.
And Zeke was saying, it's a dog.
Yeah, and Zeke was like, oh, it's a dog. Hey, how you doing?
So what do you think about having a cat in class, too?
I love it. I'm going to try I've got a little yellow and white kitty, and I think Escuela is going to become a pet therapist.
And I think we have another cat in the house that might be one.
That's right. Domino is one of those cats, found me on the streets. As long as you're touching him, he is thrilled to be touched, no matter what you're doing. We're going to start working together and see if we can get him.
And that's Tiffany speaking. And Alex, you got a dog you might be using, right?
Yes, I will probably be using Buzz, my Briard.
All right, so we got real dogs with real talented pet first aid instructors. Again, I want to congratulate Tiffany, Alex, and Arita. You are the newest members of Pet Tech. I love, love, love being deep in the heart of Dallas, and one of my all-time favorite places to give a pet first aid class is at the SPCA of Texas. It's right there, and come on, what an address, 2400 Lone Star Drive. That's awesome, and it gets even better. If you want to find out more about them, all you go is spca.org. They keep it simple, but this is one of the finest facilities I've ever been to, and I, as you know, go coast to coast. I brought Ziki, the cool cat, a.k.a. the pet safety cat. She teamed up with a couple of dogs, one by the name of Rosie Greer. Any of those in the football world know what I'm talking about. That is a girl name, but a boy dog. And we also had making two-time debut, Maddie, who is a Bichon Poodle mix-up, but a great sweetheart dog. When you take a pet first aid class, you really should have a bulletproof dog or cat that you can have the students practice on. But I am delighted for this segment of the show. We've got a very special guest, and his name is Joaquin Blanco, and he's kind of a VP, big man on campus at the SPCA of Texas. Welcome to the show, Joaquin.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
And guys, here's a little notice that you may not have known. This dude in the late 90s, in the early 2000s, was a pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, and now he is dedicating his life to pitching for the welfare of pets. How did you go from the Diamond to the SPCA?
You know, looking for an organization, a mission, something that you want to make a difference in saving lives of the animals. I believe that by saving the lives of the animals, we're saving our own lives.
That's right.
And I'm passionate about it.
And how long have you been here at the SPCA?
I'm a short timer. I've only been here for about 7 months.
Okay.
Worked in the nonprofit industry for 15 years, and I had the great opportunity to be in a grassroots organization where we can make a difference in the community, and you can see that. And, happy to be here.
This is an amazing facility. I feel like it's like a 5-star hotel. How big is this place? Could you kind of give us, like, if somebody, this is radio, so we need you to kind of give us an idea. I walk in the front door and they're not these dark cages. They're beautiful little suites that are glass, plexiglass, and all that. So tell us a little bit about some of the bennies that are here.
The state-of-the-art facilities, I always said I'd much rather have an office and the floor with the pets because, it's just amazing. They have special air conditioning units. They have classical music playing.
You mean you don't want Arden Moore's pet songs? I created some. That might scare them away.
We thought a little bit outside the box, and we play some Maroon 5.
Awesome, Maroon 5 play. Adam would like that. That's cool.
Yes, and it's colorful. It's inviting. The pots are all in glass, and the purpose of that is we want to make sure that the pets, the dogs, the cats have a continual view of people, and people can kind of integrate with them, and we can keep the contact alive between human and animal.
Now, I'm here specifically today because thanks to the SPCA being also a forefront, you guys saw the need to have some of your staffers trained as pet first aid instructors. And as you know, Joaquin, I am a master instructor. So you picked, you've got Karen Reese, you got Kelly Atkins, and you got Terry Hooks. And you're like the first shelter. I've taught shelters the pet first aid class, but you're the first one having the forethought to have me come and teach the 3-day. So when you heard about this, why in the heck did you want to do that?
Well, it's needed in the community, first of all, but also we want to be the hub for our community to have this program. And if there's individuals in the community that want to learn these skills, we will have the trainers here available to we want to elevate the rhetoric. We want to make sure that people understand that we have these services available to them.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of different programs cooking, and I want people to dash over to spca.org after this broadcast. But there's a couple you want to just briefly say that are near and dear to your heart, so take it away.
Well, the PALS program stands for Pets Adding Literacy Skills, from a person that learned English and had to learn how to read it. This program emphasizes in children reading to the animals. And
when you were coming to America from Venezuela, you had to learn English. You knew how to do a fastball, but you had to know how to do a noun and a verb and speak, right?
Exactly.
So you can relate to these kids.
Yeah, and it's dual purpose because it also allows the animals to be used to the voice of a kid. And that way the animals can correlate, and know that when a kid is reading to them or when they hear the voice of a child, it's something soothing, it's something that is okay to be around.
And the second one, and don't bring out your Kleenexes, listeners, but it's the Pet Grief Counseling Program. I think that's important because, every one of our pets is, when they go and pass, it's a little piece of our heart that's gone.
When we have pets that are surrendered, or when we have pets that pass away, or when we do honor euthanasias, when they ask us to help them with that, we allow them to be part of this program. They can call 800 number where we'll have volunteers online that can help them through the process. But also we have noticed that the most effective way to do counseling in this area is when you do group counseling. So we meet on a monthly basis we can kind of talk about it and create some type of support group for this.
Folks, Joaquin Blanco wears many collars in the pet world. He's a VP at the SPCA, and I really urge you after this broadcast to dash over to spca.org and see some of the cool things, the awesome things that are happening here. Last and most important question, El Gato Ziki, what'd you think of this cat coming to class, being a bulletproof teacher?
Well, he was better behaved than some of the staff members, we're pretty happy that he was here. It was
and
an honor.
Ziki is from Texas. Ziki is a Dallas-born stray, so every time we come, Ziki is singing. I hear her purring. Deep in the heart of Dallas. Meow. So when you hear that song coming, you know Zeke's coming back.
You got it.
All right. I'm delighted to have you on the show. Everybody dash over to spca.org and check out how well he pitched for the Chicago White Sox back in 1998 and 2000. We'll let you do your homework on your own. But I have a feeling I wouldn't have not been able to connect on any of your pitches.
Maybe they change them.
Maybe
they change
them.
them.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To all my pet pals out there, it's time for you to be your pet's best friend by enrolling in a pet first aid class. If you want to, I would be happy to teach a class in your area and arrange to have Zeke and Chipper join me. You just need to go to www.petfirstaid4u.com. That's the number 4 and the letter U to learn more. So until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, saying just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. All Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.